Hello, everybody. This is Fernando for the latest Godzilla Podcast. Sorry for the lack of news when it comes to the Godzilla movie and any other news related to the Godzilla franchise. Unfortunately, there just hasn't been much news to really report about, short of the recently released screenshots of the upcoming Godzilla game. And then the Godzilla 1998 film recently screened on certain theaters as part of Rift Tracks. There hasn't been much other than there'll be, of course, a digital download that'll be available on Tuesday. And then for the much larger format that I'll create a reminder of, there'll be the Godzilla DVD and Blu-ray release that'll be on September 16th. But a big bit of news has to go with the opening credits associated with the Godzilla 2014 film. Now that the upcoming digital release will be again this Tuesday, which is a good reminder for everybody. If you're into just having a digital copy associated with any of your new release, by all means go ahead and do so. I'm more of a nostalgic type fan. I like to have copies of either a DVD or Blu-ray in my shelf, so I'm going to wait for the September 16th release. But it looks like with, again, the digital release happening this Tuesday, there has been several screen grabs that are associated with the release on the upcoming movie, but it has to do with the opening credits. All of you and those that saw the movie several times, we all noticed right away on the opening credits how whenever the words were being displayed on the screen, whatever was being shown automatically had certain words omitted. Like certain words were whited out, others were scribbled out, some were just flat out removed, and it became a game at that time of trying to read as quickly as possible during those opening credits what those words were saying. I couldn't really catch much of anything at all because it was literally down to, let's say, the half second or microsecond that the words were on screen. But now that the digital release is again coming on Tuesday, somebody was able to grab some screen grabs of those words themselves, and I've included a direct link below to dreadcentral.com. They have a very cool presentation showcasing every single credit that showed during the opening credits before any of the words were omitted. And it was fascinating is that with many of these particular entries, it has to do with them essentially talking about more mythological items associated with Godzilla and the creatures, like the Mutos. But you also find that there are some jokes inserted within those credits, kind of like a blooper, Easter egg type stuff. Like, to give you an example, on one of the screen grabs, it shows Warner Brothers Pictures and Legendary Pictures present, and then what was underneath would have been whited out immediately. But now that we can see what it was, it says, present a terrifying tale of disaster and woe. So again, some of these particular screen grabs will be pretty straightforward stuff, just expanding again the mythology associated with this creature, and then other stuff will be more jokes. It'll be actually some funny stuff. Like it has to do with Bryan Cranston's character. Whenever his name comes up, it actually shows a whole bunch of words, but the stuff that's omitted, before it's omitted, you can make out the words Walter White, which of course was his character associated with Breaking Bad. And then when it comes to another screen grab, it shows like the Bikini Atoll Islands. It says like Richard T. Jones, he's another name that's associated with the film, but then whenever the words were not omitted, they read, the scientist and occult author Richard T. Jones has claimed unique knowledge of the creature's odd mating habits with C.J. Adams. Again, it's a joke, because if you read that as is, it makes it seem like it's saying like the creature's odd mating habits with C.J. Adams, like they're mating with him, as opposed to C.J. Adams working with T.J. Jones on the creature's odd mating habits. So again, some jokes associated with there. Very interesting stuff. So if you want to take a couple of minutes and read this particular information, click on the link. You'll be able to see, I think there's about maybe 10 or so screen grabs associated with the opening credits, and you can go one by one and you'll see some interesting stuff, and then you'll see some jokes. The very, very final one that has to do with Gareth Edwards, and when it says directed by Gareth Edwards, the stuff that was omitted says Monsters, which is, of course, his very first film. So it's a nod to his entry that essentially got him him into Legendary Pictures' eyes to make this particular film. Pretty cool stuff, pretty cool Easter eggs. It'll be interesting to see again what other Easter eggs are within the upcoming release of the film as well. So I'll be happy to point those out too later on. Alright, thanks again everybody. Take care.